Hello and welcome back to another episode of Making It. My name is Mirabelle, I'm your host, and on today's episode, we have an amazing musician. Her name is Mree, spelled M-R-E-E, and I've been following Mree for quite some time now, since like the OG YouTube days of the early 2010s or so, and we actually got connected through Twitch, where I mod for her now, and where she plays games, streams music, does improv and composing. It's a really good time on there. If you don't know Mree, she is a self-producing artist of dream folk ambient music, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically the most calm. It's floaty, it's atmospheric, it's dreamy, and it really transports you to another world. So I encourage you to go listen to her music. In this episode, we talk about our songwriting processes, which there are some similarities, but there are also some very opposite things that we do, which I found to be really interesting. We talk about live streaming on Twitch, gaming, music, and as well as video game compositions, and we get into the topic of introversion and extroversion and what it's like to be an introverted musician, all the challenges and the benefits that entails. And finally, we talk a little bit about processing our emotions. So it's a really packed episode. I hope there's some takeaways. I hope you gain some new insights, as I did when I was speaking with Mree. I had a great time chatting with her. You should all check out her music and her Twitch streams. All the links will be in the description wherever you are listening to this, and I hope you enjoy. A long time no see, although not really, because I see you on Twitch all the time. This is a little bit different though, like both of us on screen at the same time.
Yeah, I'm glad it's working because we've had issues in the past.
Just so many every time. But so for Twitch, why did you start streaming on Twitch? Let's start there.
I started because it was something I've wanted to do for a while. Because I've prior to Twitch, I hadn't really shared how much I loved video games and how kind of important they had been in my life, like influencing even the kind of music I make and stuff that I'm interested in. So I really wanted to share that with people, and Twitch just seemed like the perfect way to do that, as well as merging, my regular music self. So yeah, it was just kind of, I tried it as like a trial thing, not really knowing where it would go. But I ended up loving it so much, and I look forward to it every week.
Yeah. I also have asked my patrons for if they have any questions for you and for other people that I'm having on. And so I guess I'll just sprinkle in whatever is relevant, but I'll probably leave some in the end. But so Eric asked, what percentage are you a musician and what percent a gamer now that you've been doing this on Twitch?
I mean, if you're just looking at my Twitch page, it's way more gaming. Probably 90 game, 10 music or something like that. But in my regular day-to-day, it's definitely, I don't really do video game stuff outside of Twitch unless I'm doing a video for YouTube. Or if I'm working on video game music, but gaming wise, I'd say that maybe takes up. It's really hard to tell because I don't know. It's all mixed up for me. Gaming is really fun. It's also kind of semi-work because it's Twitch and it's a way to make money. But it's also a nice way to relax. And I don't know. I would say if I had to put a percentage of me as a person and my career as a whole, I'd say music 90, gaming 10. So the opposite of what my Twitch channel looks like.
Do you still play games outside of Twitch now, or is that your dedicated gaming time?
I haven't like had a lot of time to just game by myself, which I kind of miss a little bit. Even though I love gaming on Twitch, it's something where I do have to always be on for versus like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sitting down, relaxing, not really worrying about time going by with awkward silence because no one's watching me. Um, so I do want to like get that time to myself back in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with games. Uh yeah, because it's not now it's just like it's mainly just my Twitch time is my gaming time, but I'd like to get back to it just like for fun.
Yeah. Do you think that streaming on Twitch, like when you do music stuff, do you think that it's maybe made you more confident in performing or anything in that aspect?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I have yet to do a performance in real life because of COVID since I started on Twitch.
Mm.
But I do feel like, you know, from when I first started Twitch to where I am now, it's I feel so much more comfortable. Like I love doing on the spot requests. They're so much fun for me versus something that I used to be kind of nervous about. And I feel also just more okay with performing as myself versus this like image of myself of
Mm.
my music self that I had kind of hid behind, but like I used to just kind of want to be seen as this one thing when I perform, just like very professional, very put together, kind, and you know all those things. But I like that with Twitch, I can kind of be more silly and take my time and interact with everybody. So it's definitely made me feel more confident in performing.
I think that throughout the past year, because I mean, we've both been streaming, I think we started around the same time, but I also
Really?
feel the
I
same.
thought that you started streaming like a lot earlier than me, or no, did I just make that up?
I started in like mid August of last year. Yeah.
Oh
So it's
wow.
only been a year ish.
I thought you'd been like streaming for years. Like
Oh
you're so
no.
knowledgeable of like the ins and outs of Twitch and I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? I don't even
No.
know.
Yeah, no, I spent a lot of time on Twitch though, like when I started out. So I think that's probably why. Like
Mhm.
following all the raids, meeting all the people, and yeah. The music community is actually pretty small. Like if you hang out long enough or like go to people's streams and say hi and stuff, like you'll start seeing like the same people viewer wise and everything. It's
Mm.
pretty cool.
Mhm.
Do you think you'll keep streaming once live shows come back? Like if you'll do more music streams on Twitch still?
Probably, yeah. I mean, at this I am not doing a whole lot of music streams right now, but
Yeah.
even if I do start performing live, I'll definitely still be doing my gaming streams and I'll still sprinkle in some music streams
Hmm.
as well. Yeah.
I still think it would be cool if like live shows had a Twitch chat sort of thing. Although
Yeah.
it might like take away from the live show thing because everybody would just be on their phones texting, chatting.
That's true.
Maybe.
That's very true.
But like
Yeah,
it'd be
I
cool.
don't I miss that so much just like being in the same room with people and like feeling that energy. Like it's so nice to be able to talk to everybody. But it's
Hmm.
just like it's like a different thing. Like it's hard to compare the two because I feel like I know a lot of my community really
Hmm.
well through Twitch, and that's kind of hard to get when you do it live, other
Yeah.
than like after the show at like the merch table or something. But even then, it's a very limited amount of time. Um, but yeah, it'd be interesting if there's a way to like merge the two without it being awkward in
Yeah.
real life.
For the games, Frank asked, out of all the games you played, what is your favorite or saddest and cutest?
Hmm. Okay, so my favorite game, the saddest game, and the cutest game
Hmm.
are those three different games.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. Maybe they're all the
Okay.
same game.
Okay. Well, I think I will always have a spot in my heart for Undertale. because for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's such a beautiful game and sad and really funny. But it also was like the start of my Twitch channel. Like that was one of the first games. So I feel like there's some level of like nostalgia there for me. And it just makes me happy thinking back to playing that game, like meeting everybody for the first time and like forming these connections with everybody through this game. So Undertale is definitely up there. I also really loved A Short Hike.
Oh yeah.
That one really sticks out to me. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's cute and it's silly, but it's also very heartfelt. Like I feel like I'm really drawn to games like that where there's kind of like a little bit of everything, but at the core of it, it's like a really beautiful, wholesome story. So I really like that one. And I think I just lastly, the Frog Detective game. I think maybe it's just because I recently played it, but that game was so funny, and I love having like fun times with everybody, and it's nice to have a game that's just kind of like silly and light, and you don't have to go too deep if you don't want to go there on a
it's
on a
great
stream. Yeah, that was a fun one.
How many Frog Detective games are there?
I think there's 3. I think there's, so it's the one that we played, and then there's like the Wizard, and then another one that's coming out maybe later this year.
Ooh.
I think, I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Would you haven't done gaming streams on your channel, have you? Or did I miss those?
No, it happened. I've only played games like community games on occasion, like when my friend and I released our lo-fi album. We did a little release party and then we played some games. Nice. And I think like for my graduation stream surprise thing, we played some games. But no. Animal Crossing once, and then Animal Crossing once with you. That's the only time. Yeah.
Do you think you want to move into play more games, or is that just like you want to kind of keep that separate and just this be like your music place?
I think I want to keep it separate, but recently I think I've been like, I feel a little burnt out of music streams or something, or like taking that week off being in Vancouver. I think that might have killed the momentum or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do music streams that frequently. It takes a lot out of me when I do music streams, so I need like a lot of rest in between. So I can understand that, but it's I don't know how people just do music all the time. Like I do not have
there's like chatting, there's talking and chatting and whatever happens on stream. I don't know. I've been like cutting it down to 2 streams a week now because I'm singing the same songs and like the same people come back, which is amazing, but like the same people request the same songs, and so I think I'm adding new songs, but it's like a slow process, and I think I'm just like getting bored of that repetitiveness or something right now.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's definitely a different like way to go about performing versus in real life. Like, you know, when you do a show and there's like probably new people coming in, also like depending on what city you're in, like you can play the same songs but have a whole different experience with people. So that's something I've always like been kind of like confused about on Twitch before, just like, wait, aren't we all like, hey, we did this last week, like
like 2 days ago.
right. So I felt kind of self-conscious about that in the past too, and that's why I've been kind of just sprinkling in my music streams here and there.
As a viewer though, like as a viewer, I don't see this being a problem. And like talking to some people in my chat, they're like, but we love it. They like just hanging out and chat, I think, and like having music in the background sort of thing. If they're just lurking and working.
For sure. That's what I've been like picking up on too. It's like, I think viewers just like love the community and getting to spend time together. And, you know, if it's the same songs every time, it's not really about that. It's about sharing this moment with everybody, which is really nice. And yeah, I mean, personally, I don't know why people come back to my streams because I'm like, we did this before, but I'm so grateful. And
It's always a good time in your streams.
Oh, thanks.
It's very cozy and it's very chill. And you opening up and being more silly on stream has been really fun.
Oh, thank you, Mirabelle. From best mod of the years. I don't know. Wait, how long have I been streaming? I think over a year for sure, but
a little bit over a year, a few months. For your music, do you ever watch back your old music videos or like listen to your releases?
Yeah. Music videos I tend to not. I'll do that once in a while just to like if I'll get a comment on YouTube and I'll just be like, "Oh, I wonder what it feels like to watch this for the first time." And listening back to music, I do that occasionally. Usually happens like if Henry and I are on a long drive somewhere and we're just like, you know, what does this sound like now? And see how we feel about it. But yeah, once I release a song, if it's like been pretty close to release, I really don't go back and listen to my stuff. Like the Bloom EP, I can't listen to. I've just spent too much time with it and like listening back during like the mixing and mastering that I can't anymore. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I actually do listen to some songs when they're like just released. It's like, oh yeah, I made that thing. It's pretty cool. But then like if I listen back to older music, then I cringe. This is terrible. Yeah. Why is this out there?
I feel that it like haunts me. It haunts me so badly. Like that raid yesterday.
I was gonna say, how did you feel about that?
I think what was helpful was when he played the music video like to everybody, it was like kind of like it wasn't like HD. It was kind of like rough looking. So I'm like, okay, maybe that can like hide the fact that this was so like amateurly done. So I was like, okay. And it was also the music was kind of quiet too. So I was like, that's fine. It's fine. But yeah, it's hard for me to listen back to I think that song in particular because I've grown a lot as a musician and like as a producer that there's so many things that bother me a lot about that. So yeah, that's one it's hard to go back to.
We're our own worst critics.
Yes, it's true.
It still sounds great to the audience, to me, to everyone else listening, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, thanks. So. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, you know, the earliest works, it's I
mean, I only just started putting out music like last year, and I think like even just within the year, like my last song that I put out compared to the first song that I put out, I'm already like, I don't like what I put out there. Like, I don't like this. Can I just restart? Can I just delete everything?
Oh, yeah. I know the feeling.
Do you think that there was a defining point in your career where you figured out like your sound? Because it's very unique, and especially Bloom, I think, is like a whole new world now.
I think I'm gonna say Winterwell, even though that was my second album. I think that was when I like was really getting into production, and Grow was more just like me. It was my first album, my first time writing music, and so I didn't really have time to like cultivate a sound. But I think with Winterwell, I just like took my time and had fun with just creating sonic spaces that I feel like, even though it's more of a folky album than what I'm doing now, I think there are elements to it that still are consistent between then and now. And with Bloom, I think that like kind of ambient sound has always like been in me and all like has been in my music, whether it's like an intro of a song or like an outro. I think I just kind of let it all out, like that part of me for Bloom. And so that was really fun. But I think I just kind of like going wherever the music goes, and I think my music will always kind of sound like me, but will have different themes and, you know, elements to it. But I think, I mean, I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm not sure how it feels as a listener, but yeah, I think to answer your question, I think it all kind of started with Winterwell, and I've just been kind of developing that over time.
Do you think you'll write more instrumental music then? For like, since Bloom is pretty much all instrumentals, there are some lyrics, but they're not like in the forefront.
Yeah. I have like a 3-song piano EP that's completely done. It has no lyrics. It's just I have to finish mixing it and mastering. But yeah, it's been hard for me to get back into writing lyrics after Bloom. I think it's hard to like step away from writing for a while and come back to it without feeling like just kind of out of touch with it. I've never felt like lyrics were like my strongest skill. I feel the most comfortable with writing the music and producing. So I think also just I've been telling myself in my head that like, oh, I'm not a great lyricist, which is probably adding to this like writer's block that I'm having with lyrics. So I do want to keep pushing that though. I think I'm really wanting to write and release music that do have vocals and lyrics kind of at the forefront after Bloom. Just because I don't want to, like, I feel like if I released my piano EP right now, it'd be like making a statement that I'm moving into a purely instrumental space, which I don't want to do. I want to kind of keep it open, but I could also just be overthinking all this. Probably am. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening next, but I do want to be writing more lyric focused songs.
Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, I think I would think though also that like if you did release the piano thing right now after Bloom, I would probably think that that's the direction you're headed in. But if you were to bring out another song with lyrics in the forefront, then it wouldn't, I don't think it would mean anything or anything. Like it's just
yeah.
yeah.
It's hard to separate like I guess like I don't know if it's a business side of things or just like
marketing, branding sort of thing.
Exactly. It's hard to separate that from the creative process, and sometimes most of the time it's really important to not think about that stuff. But it's all a balance.
Do you like thinking about all the marketing and branding business side of things?
Oh, I hate it. I do not like it at all. I try and stay as far away from looking at numbers as I possibly can, but it's hard to avoid, and it's hard to stop myself from that temptation to compare myself from other people, other artists. So yeah, for that reason, I don't want the marketing stuff to influence the creative side, but I know that it's also an important thing if, someone wants to pursue this as a career. I get that it's important. So I do have to sometimes focus on that, but I'd like the majority of my time to be more on just creating.
Yeah. I actually find it kind of fun sometimes.
Really? What do you like about it?
The engagement, I think, maybe. But I get that, like, the numbers. I think, like, somebody has said that comparison kills, and that is very true. But also, you can look at it in a different way, and using comparison as like a way to improve on whatever it is, like that could be healthy. It could be healthy comparison. But there's like a
Right.
very fine line between the good and bad.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it could be a very strong motivator.
Hmm.
And I think that the trick is just knowing yourself enough to know how much you can take before it becomes too much, like too oh my God,
Debilitating.
debilitating. Whenever I'm on camera, I second guess my words so much.
I feel that.
But yeah, I think it's something that people like. It's important to sit down and define that for yourself, because it's something I've definitely struggled with. But I can definitely see it being a motivating factor for sure. I think that was at the beginning of it all. That's kind of what I was focusing on more than I am now.
Yeah.
I think because it was like new and exciting and things were just happening quickly. But now that I've been in it for a while, and the numbers kind of, they're not climbing significantly like they were when I was first starting out. I think I am more sensitive to that. So I think that's why I'm more just like trying to protect myself in that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe that's just where I'm at. I feel like I'm very much at the beginning of it all, and so it's a little bit more exciting.
I mean, you've been playing piano and flute for a long time, right? Those are your two main instruments?
Yeah.
Oh, and guitar too.
Yeah, I started on piano, and then my mom taught us Chinese zither because she played in orchestra in Taiwan before they moved to Canada.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so like we learned that as kids, cause my brother and I, and then I picked up flute and guitar kind of around the same time in like junior high-ish or so. Flute was my brother's instrument because he had joined band in junior high and then he quit, and so I picked it up and then I continued.
Whoa. Wait, did you pick it up in band in school?
Actually, no, I took private lessons on flute before I joined band in high school.
Oh, okay.
So
very cool.
yeah. So I've been playing for some time, but like it's all been more in like the classical realm, I guess, of music. And then like singing, songwriting has been like a hobby that I've done just by myself or like with a friend or something, but never yeah. But now it's become more integrated. Now I'm kind of merging the classical and popular side. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. What made you want to release music? Was there like a moment where you remember like, oh, like I want to do this now? Or has it just been kind of like, I'll try it out?
It was kind of like I wanted to try it, I think, because YouTube, watching yourself and like other OG YouTubers releasing music like that, it's like that's a cool thing. It seems fun. So I have like a video of me doing like a One Direction song in my pajamas, like unlisted on YouTube right now. So I did that just for fun and like talent shows with my friend. Like it's just been like a fun thing. And then I've always been like sharing snippets of songs or like random guitar things on like Instagram and stuff. And I think like my friends were the ones who were like, this is really good. You should actually put it out there. You should actually do it. And so I started doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think the online community can be like really exciting. And I think when I started too, I kind of felt similarly, just like watching everyone on YouTube, and I was like, I want to give this a go and see what happens. And yeah, the support and the feedback was just like really nice that it just kept propelling me to go forward. And I think like especially communities like Twitch, like everyone that I've come across has been so supportive and kind and generous. And I feel like for musicians who are, starting off or entering in a new sphere of genre, or I don't know. I just think in general, it's been a really nice thing to see, like people starting off and getting such wonderful feedback from other people on that platform.
Yeah, I think Twitch is definitely what's been like the main community building thing platform, because it all started with Twitch, and then like now everyone has like Discords associated with their Twitch, and I think that's really where my community is being built from. It's pretty cool.
So many tools.
I know, it's too many. There's too many things to keep track of.
Yeah, I feel that.
Being online, having an online presence for a while, this is kind of, well, my question, and also Carver brought up this question as well. Being half Taiwanese and half Bulgarian, right? Have you ever been faced with any adversity in the industry based on your background, or any like unique experiences?
I feel like I have been very fortunate throughout my career in that it had been kind of, I didn't really have a lot of gatekeepers that like I needed to kind of open the doors for me, like through YouTube and just like being online and building my community organically. I personally haven't really experienced any kind of adversity based on my background like that. I have, however, being a female in the industry, experienced kind of just not really being taken seriously as a musician and a producer, and not something that, I mean, it's hard to tell on the big scope of things, like if my experience would have been different, if I look different, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's something that I know a lot of other people have struggled with, and I think I just kind of want to keep perpetuating this, the message that anyone can make music and be a producer, and that you don't have to be a certain gender or ethnicity or age to make music or to start making music.
There are a lot of times when I like wish that I was the opposite gender. Just so many, not like music wise, but like just in general.
Yeah.
There are lots of moments.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I know it's kind of don't need to get into that, but yeah, I feel that too.
Yeah. As an introverted person, have you found any difficulties with that then, navigating the field?
I'd say yes and no. I feel like because I'm introverted, I'm not super great with like networking and putting myself out there in that way. It doesn't come naturally to me. I feel like I don't push for myself as much as someone who is more extroverted. Sorry, I was like outroverted. That's not the word. Okay, so it's extroverted. I think that that's something that was, when I had management, was great because I didn't have to really worry about that. I knew that there was someone working for me that can kind of push for the things that I am uncomfortable doing myself. And so yeah, that side of the music business as an introvert has been difficult for me to navigate at times. But I think in terms of making music, I really like the fact that I'm an introvert because I feel like my sensitivity really helps me hone in on my skills and spend time with like detailed things like sounds and harmonies. Not that people who are extroverted aren't able to do that also, but I think I'm just really comfortable being in my own space, in my own world alone. It has been difficult collaborating, so that's one thing that I don't know if it's it's not all introverts, but me, it's been difficult for me to like come out of my shell and feel comfortable being creative in front of people. Um, so that's something I've been working on, but it's been a long journey, and I'm not super comfortable with that yet, but
Yeah.
I hope to get better.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about like how you feel about collabs because I've been doing these songwriter session things, but like with Shani, she is a huge extrovert and she loves doing these songwriter sessions and writing with people,
Mm-hmm.
and she loves bouncing ideas off of one another. And I was saying that I am a huge introvert and that I was
Mm-hmm.
like, before the stream started, I was like, I'm a little bit scared of doing this. But like, like stepping outside of my comfort zone every now and then, although it's just like it's not that fun, but it's kind of nice to get out there. Like I was realizing throughout that session that I don't like writing with other people really.
Yeah, I mean that's props to you for doing that. Like that's a difficult thing. That was during a stream, like that was live, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's I mean that is also just like an added level of like, whoa, there are a lot of people watching, which would be very difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like props to you for doing that. That is awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of like co-writing in school, and what would end up happening is like we'd have like a meeting. I you know, we talk about what we want to write about and like kind of make some progress but very little, and then I'd be like, okay, like I'll just like come up with something and send it your way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like create this song basically and be like, okay, what do you think? Like I just hit a wall when there's someone else in the room.
Yeah.
But then when I'm by myself, it's like, oh, everything opens up and I can think again.
Yeah.
So I admire people who can do that openly and not feel self-conscious like I do
Mm-hmm.
about it. But yeah, there's pros and cons to both, I think,
Yeah.
to both ways.
I was like, this idea that I have in my head right now, I can't present it until I like it.
Right.
Whereas Shani was like throwing out all these ideas, whether they're good or bad, and then just seeing how the
Mm-hmm.
other person reacts. It's like, I can't do that.
Same. I don't like throwing out ideas that are not well thought out
Yeah.
either. Like I like things to be prepared, and I don't know. That's just the way I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can, try being a little bit more adventurous with that, but it is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Then when you're writing, when you're creating stuff, do you block out times to do that, or do you just whenever the inspiration hits, how do you go about that?
It's kind of both. I think my whole life has kind of just so far has been writing and making music when it feels right. But I do want to try having more scheduled times where I sit down and create, and just not have the pressure on it being needing to be anything, you know, amazing or like for sure, like, oh, I know I'm going to sit down and write this song and it has to be something I release. I think that's the way I used to create a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there would be a lot of silence in between those moments of inspiration. And I feel like I don't want to be taking those kinds of breaks. Like I kind of want to keep the energy flowing and without judging it too much, just like, yeah, creating things. And if they end up not being a song I released, then like that's fine too. But at least I was enjoying the process of it. I think that's really what I want to be focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have scheduled time where you create?
Not exactly for creating, but I've been trying sometimes. Occasionally I've done that, but like being out of school for a couple months and like not having a schedule of like classes and rehearsals and stuff, it's a little bit like if I have things that I need to do, then I will try to do that, like block out hours in my day to at least start on something just to
Mm-hmm.
feel to have a little bit more structure. But I typically don't like schedules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be like that too. I think now because I think it all kind of changed after I left school as well. It's like I I wasn't really thinking about my day that much. I was just like, whenever I have time, I'll just create. But now with all this open space, it's like
Yeah.
I really crave structure now, and I feel like I I just it really helps me feel good about my day and about myself if I know exactly what I want to be doing every day and like at what time. Yeah, that's something I definitely am craving more of. I think the older I get, and yeah, just being your own boss, I think that kind of comes with the territory. Just like gotta make your own schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's great, but also it's a little bit difficult sometimes.
yeah, can definitely be daunting for sure.
Yeah, because when I was in Vancouver for like this Vancouver International Film Festival, they did this conference sort of thing. And so it was only a weekend, but it was very packed, and it was like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. full of
Whoa.
like panels and breakout sessions, and it was a lot, but it was really nice meeting so many people in the industry and like other musicians, other people doing similar things. But like for one, like my introverted self, I was like, I don't need to talk to anybody for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Gotta
good.
recharge.
But it was so structured because like this 2 hour window you're doing this thing, and then the next 2 hours you're doing that thing, and then I come home from that and like I'm not moving anywhere. I'm like my day starts here and ends right here. I'm not like meeting anybody. It's like a weird transition.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can understand that. And definitely needing like recharge time from having all of that socializing and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you're finding ways to give yourself that recharge time.
Yeah, just doing nothing really.
Good.
But yeah, it was good. So, what is it like having friends doing the same thing in the same field? Because it's kind of hard to meet other musicians and other people who are similar in like personality or whatever wise.
I am so grateful that I met Kina, Kate, and Marie. Prior to meeting them, I really didn't have friends in the industry, I'd say. Like, definitely not people that, like, I felt like I could call them, like, my real friends, I'd say. Like, they're people that I was, like, acquaintances with and, um, just on the surface, very, very cordial and everything. But on, like, a deep friendship level, I, like, hadn't even experienced that kind of friendship with, like, other friends that I've had. And I think it's different because we have very similar experiences, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing, like, having this group of women who I can talk to and get advice from, and just kind of like share our experiences and how we're feeling about things. Yeah, there's just this level of understanding that I've felt like it's been hard to find with other people who aren't like in a creative field like as their primary job or life. And so yeah, it's been wonderful, and I'm so grateful to have that with the girls. So yeah, it's been really, really wonderful.
Yeah, because one of my best friends is an accountant, and like we can't really relate on the same level of, yeah, like we have similar mindsets, and I think like similar drive and whatnot, but sometimes like you just gotta rant to somebody about something, and like she'll tell me about whatever's going on at work, and like I have no idea what any of these words mean, but sure. I'll listen, I'm here for you. But like if I have any sort of like creative thing that I want to talk about. Like I can't really relate to her with that stuff.
Right. I
Yeah.
think it's great to have um and this doesn't even have to be with music, but just like friends. Like I used to think, you know what, like with Henry, I used to think that like, he could fulfill all of my like social and relationship needs. Like I can go to him with anything and he'll be able to like help me out. But in reality, it's like it's really, I think, good to have different people in your life that you can go to for different things.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll talk to my girls about something that I won't maybe want to go into with Henry. And yeah, I think that not relying on one person or a couple people for everything is something that I found to be helpful for me, because it would just kind of lead to bad feelings and not
Yeah.
great, not great stuff.
You've done a few video game projects. Do you want to do more? Is this something that you're still doing?
Yeah, very much so. I'm always super psyched to hear about new projects in the video game world. I just like want to be involved in projects like in any way I can. I'm very, very excited about being um in the video game composing music world, and would definitely love to continue doing that.
Like you did Gnomes and Goblins, which is Jean Favreau's game. I didn't even know he made games. But
I mean, I didn't either until then. So
like did they reach out to you, or do you find projects and reach out to them, or how does that work?
a lot of the projects that I've gotten is through this one contact that I made when I went to a PAX convention like 4 or 5 years ago. I met a music composer for video games there, and so whenever he's working on a project that needs vocals, he'll shoot me an email and I'll send files over. And so a lot of my projects have been through him. There have been some that are just, emails that I've gotten. They're like, hey, like, would love to have you in this project. And I get them that way. I found it pretty difficult to get projects just like asking developers, because what I found is like by the time they're at a place where they can promote an aspect of the game, they usually have secured music by then. But I'll still be like, if you ever need additional vocals or,
Mm-hmm.
any future projects, you can let me know. But yeah, I'm still trying to navigate that world and figure out the best way for me to be on more projects, because it's still a foreign world for me. I don't really have that many contacts in this world, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't like have a manager that can push for opportunities. So yeah, it's still working on that one.
Do you think you'll ever get a manager again, or is that like not in your plans anymore?
I'd like to. I It's nice right now because I have like full control over everything. Not that a manager really changes that, but like in terms of money and stuff, finances, it's like I get to keep 100% again, which is nice. But yeah, I do miss having someone get opportunities for me, and just dealing with the technical side of just like, syncs and contracts and gigs
Mm-hmm.
that like is not my forte. Like I don't know a lot of the language. I mean, I have a lawyer to like look over my documents and everything, but it would be really nice to have a manager again who can really help with opportunities that I can't really get myself. Like I only have kind of my pool of people that I know that I go to, but having someone more on the inside would be really nice. Yeah, so it's not like I won't ever have a manager again, but I'm also just not like making that a top priority at this moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, just taking it one day at a time.
Oh, do you ever just like compose over pre-existing works for fun?
I did a little bit of that. It was like kind of for fun because I really enjoyed doing it, but it wasn't just like whatever. I was making a video game composition reel, and so I put up some of like my favorite games and like their trailers and gameplay videos, and just kind of composed to that. But other than that, yeah, I can't think of another time where I've done that really, when just like composing things. But it's a nice activity. Like that's a fun prompt to
Yeah,
have.
it's an interesting little challenge sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you do that often?
Not as often as I would like to, but I did do a composition over Wong Fu Productions trailer of Strangers Never Again. So I did that. I like had
Mm,
their trailer muted and then I composed over it and then I compared before and after.
nice. That sounds fun.
Yeah, and I did that live on Twitch, which I haven't done a live composition in a while, but I think it comes back to the whole like wanting to create kind of like on my own sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah. That's why I do like mostly silly
silly.
songs. That's my hack. Cause yeah, I can't touch like emotional stuff when I'm streaming. I can't really
Mm,
tap into that. So I just like to keep it light,
that's great.
silly, and that's the only way I can do it.
We love. We need. Who said they called it a Mree EP?
Oh my god. I love that.
When's that
I
coming out?
I have to finish all those songs, and I do really want to put them out in some way. It will happen, but I'm not
It
sure
would be great. I
when.
would love that. I think also for like trailer wise composing and video game things, I haven't ever done like composing over video game trailers or gameplay, but I have taken like book chapters and used those as prompts to compose, which is pretty cool.
Oh, it's really
It's really
cool.
fun. Yeah.
How did you come up with that prompt? That's really interesting.
I was reading Out of Love by Hazel Hayes and it was a like really emotional chapter of like the relationships and this individual's growing. It's a love story told backwards,
Mm,
and yeah, the chapter just I just decided to compose to that chapter to what I felt, and it's cool. Yeah,
that's really cool. Was it instrumental or did you also write
it
lyrics?
was instrumental. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah,
That's a cool prompt.
you
I should
try
try that.
it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I would love to do more of those and like put them out or like do like a whole book or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
What motivates you to create?
What motivates me to create?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I mean, the easiest motivation is when am going through something and I feel like I need to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's been a while since I've felt that though, and that's a good thing, I think, because I'm feeling good, which is great. Um, but I think I used to turn to that as like the main motivation to creating. That's how it all started for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like in high school, I'm like just writing down my feelings and
Angsty
working that
teen
out.
vibes.
Yes, yes. But now it's more like I think I'm just more inspired by like the way a song feels. I don't really know how to put this into words, but I just like to think of the space that I'm creating, and that's what gets me excited. Just like imagining the world and like I like wanting to create a space that someone else can be in.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
pretty
know
cool.
how. I
Kind
don't
of
know if
like
I'm
like creating another creating another world for people to live in or like
yeah,
experience for
yeah.
a bit.
Yes, I think that's kind of what I like to try to do. Like, I don't know, I just get this very specific feeling when I'm creating sometimes of like it's not like a place in real life, but it's just
Mm.
like a feeling like I don't know. I can't explain it. But like it does get me excited to think about someone else listening to that and hopefully being able to be transported in a way to this world that I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm. Because
I
you
think that's
describe your music as like dream folk ambient music, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I've just always been drawn to that aspect of music. Like I never really listened to lyrics. I
Mm.
didn't know that movies place songs in their movies according to the lyrics. I just
Oh
thought like,
yeah.
oh, this is a cool feeling. Like it's
Oh.
interesting they chose this song. Like I didn't
Hmm.
know that. I
Oh.
didn't know that people like really listen to the lyrics and get that. I just was always interested in like the way the music felt. So I think as a musician, that's kind of where I draw inspiration from versus like telling a story with words.
That's cool. I don't think I've ever thought about it that way.
Are you drawn like when you create where do you find your motivation from and does it start like with music first or lyrics first or how do you like to write?
Song wise, I think it all comes kind of at the same time. And it's
Mhm.
all like I'll be playing guitar and humming or like singing gibberish, and then it starts to make sense. And it's usually as like experiences or frustrations, usually, that I have.
Mhm.
It's just easier to write about the negative things, I think, for
Yeah.
me.
Oh,
Um,
same, same.
like if something's going really well and like I'm really happy and this experience is great, then it's great. Then we move on. I don't know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but writing it helps. It's kind of like journaling in a way, but
Mhm.
song form. It comes
Yeah.
all at the same time.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I think that's how I kind of like it too. Even though it usually starts music first, I'll
Mm,
also then just like sing some gibberish words and something eventually sticks, but it's
yeah.
yeah. I could not sit down and write lyrics first. I know some people who do that, but I
Yeah.
can't. I
I
can't
me
imagine.
neither. They like write like a whole poem and then they add
Mhm.
music to it. And they like look up rhymes and words that rhyme with this and that, and like it's very structured. And
Mhm.
I don't think that's how I write.
Yeah. I just kind of see where it goes. I see where it goes. And usually I don't really know what I'm writing about until like way later in the process.
Hmm.
Um yeah, so I admire people who can just sit down and like write a song.
I think I'm
I
kind of
just can't.
opposite in that way, where like if I'm writing a composition or a song, like there's already a like a theme or something. There's already something that
Mm.
I'm writing about.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Very cool.
So, what do you do when you're not making music?
Um I love cooking and baking, so probably I made bread the other day. Was really fun. And embroidering, as you know, I love embroidering. Um, so those are like my two main hobbies, I'd say.
Do you run an arts and crafts club, or am I remembering something wrong,
Oh,
different?
I did. I did for a while. I did a like craft meetup. I did that for a couple years to meet other people who like crafting and
Mm.
it was really nice. I would like bake treats and we would have a picnic and
Oh.
it wasn't just embroidering like people were knitting and crocheting, and so you could kind of bring whatever project you wanted. But then COVID happened, and so
Right.
no more of that. But it was fun. It was a fun
That
time while it
sounds
lasted.
very cute. Very sweet. So there are a couple of Patreon questions. Speaking of COVID, so Eric asked, or he said, you got married about a year ago, expecting to have a proper wedding. Happy anniversary. But how are you dealing with putting such a big thing on hold for so long?
I've honestly been okay with that. Because Henry and I have not, like, we never really wanted a big celebration. Just like, it was always going to be just like family and very small, like not a big, like, I didn't want it to be like a big celebration.
Mm.
So it wasn't like I had this dream wedding that I've been waiting for, that I've been thinking of since I was
planned since you were 12.
right. So I've never really like been like dreaming of that.
Mm.
So that, it's been fine with me. I think at the end of the day, I just like, we've been together now for, oh my God, 8 years. I don't even know. Was that last year? I don't know. But like, it's been so long that like, I just know that this is my person and that I want to be with them forever. And now we are married, and it makes sense to my heart and my brain. And I'm just really, really happy about that. I feel like I definitely do want to have a ceremony at some point, still like a small one. Just I know that I would regret it if I, looking back on my life when I'm older,
Mm.
I would want to have that, and I would want to celebrate that with my family. But I'm okay with waiting until it's safe again. And we will just celebrate our anniversary every year, and that'll be the way it goes.
Yay. Is it weird that like putting a label on it, like you've been together for so long, but now you're married? It's like husband and wife. Is that a weird thing?
I mean, it's still like feels weird to say, like if we're in a store and someone's like, I don't know, someone asked me where, like, never mind, I don't have to get into it, but I had to say like, oh, I'm looking for my husband.
Oh yeah.
And that feels still weird because it, like, I feel like that makes me sound older, which isn't a bad thing, but I feel like people tend to not take me seriously, but they think that I'm younger, and I don't know. It's nice because I kind of feel more like adult.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a lady and take me seriously, which is silly because
Now
marriage, I mean, like, what even
now the labels will take you seriously now.
Yeah, right? But it is a nice, like, I don't know. I think there's just like an added level of security in a way that comes with being married. And I mean, I feel the same overall, but there's just like an added like niceness of like unity to our life, which I really like.
That's good. I walked into a store with my brother the other day, and he was trying on some clothes, and this lady who was working was helping us. She's like, there's like some big sale, and she was really excited about it, and so she was like pulling out all these clothes for us, and then she's like, yeah, I think your husband might like this. I was like, my husband?
Oh my God.
Like the first time that's ever happened. No.
Oh my God.
I can't see it.
Did you say anything, or were you just like, okay?
I wasn't sure if I heard her correctly, so I didn't say anything. But then I realized after, or no, she said it like again, and then I was like, oh no, he's just my brother.
Oh my God. Oh God.
Yeah. On the opposite end of being happy, Daniel asks, do you ever get angry? And what does that look like? What makes you angry?
Um, yes, I definitely get angry. Usually usually I have not hmm. I think what makes me it's not really a thing that makes me angry. It's usually like the way I'm feeling mentally, and then little things can make me angry.
Mhm.
I I don't know. So I haven't really talked about this before. I think I mentioned it like once before, but I probably have endometriosis. And the past year has been difficult because I think it's been hard hormonally. Like when I get very, very, very emotional and sensitive, like around my period. And so that's when the anger comes out. And I hate it because I I just it's like an out of body experience. I can see myself reacting to things in a way that I normally don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it's scary because like I it just it's a very unfamiliar feeling to me. Um but outside of that, like I can get frustrated about things, and especially if like technology is on my side one day, yeah, that
Uh-huh.
can get me pretty mad. But yeah, I think it's not a side of like seeing my angry side. I don't let people see that really. That's a side that only Henry sees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very careful about that. I'm very self-conscious about it. I think especially because people don't expect me
Yeah.
to be upset and angry and loud. And it frustrates me that like that's the way people think about me, and that
Mm-hmm.
like I'm kind of in this box, and anytime I step out of it, it's like, whoa, like who are you? And I know that I've put myself in that box though, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't share that side openly with other people, and I don't talk about it a lot. But I think anger is an emotion that's important and should be expressed in a healthy way,
Mm-hmm.
or can be expressed in a healthy way. And I think it's uncomfortable for people to see and for people to talk about. But I hope that, with, the more conversations about mental health and sharing emotions, I hope that it won't be such a polarizing thing
Mm-hmm.
in the future, not excusing like angry outbursts and harming other people, or
Yeah.
not that that's okay, but I think that usually, or at least in my experience, I associate anger with bad, and I don't think that has to be true, and I want to kind of learn more about that and effective ways to channel anger,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, not make it be this like really scary emotion to feel.
Yeah. When someone gets angry, other people get angry for them being angry. And
Mm-hmm.
then it just doesn't help. It just cycles through, and it's a difficult thing to talk about and to work through, I think.
Right.
I think
Yeah, for
like
sure.
being sad and emotional in that way is becoming more normalized now, and people are making Instagram posts of them being sad just to like show that you can be sad. But like,
Right.
yeah, nobody really does anger.
Yeah, I think it's also like it might be ah I came across this post the other day about um this woman talking about her past relationship, and how like the things that she did wrong in the relationship, or that she like can see now that she would
Oh,
like to do differently. And some of that was like, addressing her anger,
mm,
and um and just like a darker side of herself that like isn't normally talked about. But it was really nice to see that, to someone show a not so perfect side of themselves, like, and going so far as like, you know, hey, I said things I shouldn't have said. I was really angry, whatever. Like, it was comforting to see people talk about that, because I often feel like when I get upset, when I get angry, and I say things I don't mean, that like that's the worst thing in the world. Like, I can't come back from that. You know, I've said the worst thing and I can't live that down. But the truth is, like, people say that like it happens. It happens in relationships, and it's not something that indicates like you're a bad person, even though that's where my mind goes.
Right.
But yeah, I'm hoping that like you said, mental health and like depression, anxiety, these things are being talked about in a way that isn't so jarring anymore. And I hope that also happens with emotions like anger too. And yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot though for people to be vulnerable enough to talk about their emotions, or to be like in tune with themselves enough to recognize what's going on, like this out of body experience that you were saying, like seeing yourself be angry but then hating that. And I wish more
It's
people
hard.
yeah, it's hard, but like I wish more people could do that. Or
Right,
like
right.
work towards that. Yeah.
I think the thing you said about like being angry about being angry is like is so true. And I feel that like even with, you know, being sad and depressed, like there's this hate towards it. And like I get mad at myself for getting in these feelings, getting in these moods. Whereas if we just like could see what's happening and being like, oh, like, okay, I'm upset right now. I'm kind of angry right now, but I like that in itself is not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's just the way it is right now. And I don't have to be upset about it. Like, I think like the added level of anger that comes after the anger is like not helpful. And I really want to work on not getting there. I just want to like see it for what it is and just be like, okay, this is an emotion, and emotions are fine to have.
Yeah. There's a time recently-ish where like I was going through a rough patch, and I could see myself going through that, and I could see myself being sad and recognizing that that's just what's happening. But then I got frustrated about seeing that that's happening and then not being able to do anything about it.
Right.
And so it's like, it's really meta of like just looking at, there's so many layers to it.
Yeah. It really is like kind of wild to think about having different perspectives of yourself, and like watching your brain work is a really trippy thing to do, because it's like, wait, don't I control my brain? But then you also don't, and you can watch it. It's like, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
We're all
but
just
like
chemical reactions. Like,
right. Yeah.
what even?
I don't even know.
What is
I
real?
don't even know.
What is life?
Who knows? Who even knows?
One more question from DJ. How have your experiences been with social media, and how are you managing them?
Social media. Yep. So I'd say, let me think about this one. Okay, so I think I go in like spells, I guess, of like times where I'm not really caught up in it, and other times I'm like really caught up in it. It's really hard to separate myself from the social media world. I've noticed, like many people, that when I'm in that world, it means I'm usually in a not so great place. And I turn to that as a way to like numb my brain, shut off, and like just become a vegetable, which I don't want to be doing because I know it's not really helpful for me. What I've done in the past and what I do if I'm in a really bad way is like if there's like an account or post that I'm finding is like triggering to me in a way, then I will just mute that account. Or if there is like a comment that I find is like just plain unnecessary and rude and mean, I will delete it. I used to be like, oh, that's so like, you should never, delete comments. That's like, but I think I'd rather protect myself than, I don't know what the alternative is. It's just like having a mean comment up because I don't know. So, yeah, I'm just like not afraid to do that anymore if it just is unnecessary and is not contributing anything positive. If it's really affecting me, I will just get rid of a comment. I've also have screen time on my phone or downtime. I'm not sure what it is, but like, we can set app limits. Yes, let's combine them. Which is helpful. So I can kind of track how long I'm online, and then I'll get a notification, just say like, hey, type in your password if you want to use this, which is very easy to do, but it's enough of a reminder to like check in with myself and be like, do I really want to do this? And just, I think following accounts that are promoting well-being, self-care, stuff like that, just being able to open up my Instagram and not be bombarded with just like negativity is always a plus. So I've been trying to just unfollow accounts that aren't serving me in a good way and follow accounts that will promote like just a better experience for myself. Promote better
lifestyle.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like imagining now just like daily quotes of Instagram posts that are just like, like you can do it.
Yeah. Like I mean, even stuff like that, I find like is when you get enough of it, it's just like, I don't associate Instagram with something so negative. Like I'm doing social media for a nonprofit on the side, and I'll probably do like a post about it on my main page at some point, but that account follows like, understand that all these great like self-help accounts and life lessons and social emotional learning and stuff like that. And so whenever I log into that account and I see all those posts, I'm like, oh, Instagram is such a beautiful world. Like, look at all these helpful tools. And then I go on my account and I'm like, oh, something's got to change. So I feel like making my Instagram a little bit more like that other account is probably a good move for me.
Yeah, I made a separate Instagram account just to follow nice accounts.
Oh,
and
that's
like
great.
Yeah, and so like it's less clutter, and I don't know how or when this started, but there's like this thought of like I can't unfollow this person because I know them in real life and they know me, and if I unfollow them, maybe they'll know, and this relationship is gonna be terrible. But I don't think that really matters. It's not like I've talked to them or anything, but I still feel that sort of kind of pressure or something, and so I just made a whole other account.
That's smart. I can understand that feeling for sure, and I think my way around it is just muting accounts, so like I'm still following but I can't see what you're saying. But I think all in all, I'd like to think that people aren't keeping track of that stuff, and
I don't think they are.
Yeah, right.
But we're all thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
That's crazy. Social media, or just like fill it with dogs. My friend was just asking about like that search page, the explore page or something, where like it gives you suggestions up top of posts, and like she said hers was like it showed her some really cursed image, and so I went to mine to look, and I was like, the top is like Siberian huskies, husky puppies.
Oh,
I was like, I think it's pretty accurate.
oh,
Great.
that's a good sign that you're following the right accounts.
Yeah.
If your explore page
dogs.
is just like things you love, that's a good sign.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here and talking to me.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice chatting with you.
Where can people find you on the internet?
Mree. Mree. You could just type that in. Sometimes it's Mree Music, but Mree is my name, my artist name.
Great. Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure.